Hello color theory students. I'm making this video for you to show you what's going to be due on Wednesday the 15th, following our critique on Friday the 10th of our Bezold Effect series. When that is finished, I was going to do an introduction here of what you need to do in preparation for what's called the transparency effect. If you look at my module in Canvas, you'll see that I put a whole bunch of examples of this project in there. It's a gorgeous technique. It's unique to painting because paint actually can mix together to give the illusion of transparency as if it's a film sitting on top of one another. If you're very strategic about your color system and how much you mix of one color versus the other, you can actually get the illusion of things going in front and behind and sort of weaving around. So it's a very interesting project. It's a good idea to have some of your objects be white, not white, but add white to them. Nothing can be really black or white, but if you use white, just put a little color in it. If you use black, little color in it. You use gray, little color in it. So those are the chromatic grays. You can also use neutrals and all the colors from the wheel. Of course, you don't want a rainbow, but you want to kind of plan this out ahead of time. The trick to this is having one long shape come through your design so that it grounds the composition. So you may want to start with a shape throughout the whole paper. We're going to be using a 15 by 20 board, and the border is optional. So you can do something more subjective, implying a shape that's familiar, and you'll see some of those examples in my module. You also might be completely abstract. But again, it's helpful to do this not only to ground the composition for unity, but also to create more opportunities for your overlaps, because your requirement is 2 triples minimum and 2 doubles. Three doubles, 2 triples. It's all written down in the module. So here we go, we have a shape. This whole shape is going to be visually to your mind one color, but you don't want to fill that in until your design is drawn. So I'm having you guys work on this drawing over the weekend so that we can brainstorm and make sure it fulfills the requirements for the effect, but also is a balanced design. So I want to have some things come in, other shapes, and overlap this shape. Of course, repetition is key. So since I created sort of a leaf shape, I'm going to go ahead and create another leaf shape over here. Now I've immediately created 2 doubles. This and this. When I start to try to create triples, I'm invariably going to create more doubles. But the minimum is 3 doubles, 2 triples. So now I got to figure out how to do some triples in here, and also keeping in mind my design. Maybe since it feels a little bit like a landscape, I'll do sort of maybe a tree shape that comes in here. It can be organic or geometric shapes. It's totally up to you. And I want you to really do some sketches for this. So there's one, and then of course I want to repeat something to that effect going off the edge because of the principle of repetition in design that makes it successful. And I'm watching out for any awkward moments. Things going off the edge at different points are desirable. I might have something go off the edge here and maybe have a little something here. I don't know, something like that. So I'm kind of considering my whole composition. From here, I'll have you switch to a pen. This is pencil, and I'll switch to a pen, and I'm going to start figuring out, keep it this way. Let's put this here so you can see it better. So here I have now a double, and there I have another double, and then I have another double, and then I have a double over here and over here, but in between I have a triple. Over here I have a double. So if you use a pen and just outline your doubles, you can make sure you have enough, which I'm sure you will. You can have as many as you want. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 doubles. Now I got to make sure I have my triples going on. I'm going to switch to another pen. I think we'll walk to this red marker, red pen. This is a triple. But guess what? I don't have enough. I only have the doubles. So I have to actually put another shape to create a triple. So I'm going to repeat again with something that's already in there. And I've just created myself a second triple. It can be a tiny little thing, but it has to be in there. And now I have to outline my other doubles. So I ended up with 2 triples and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doubles. If I'm happy with the design from here, I'm going to start thinking about color systems. When we actually get to the painting part, we don't paint the overlap areas till the very end. We decide what the big shapes are. I'm going to make my big snake shape yellow. And you can use colored pencil, markers, pens, whatever is helpful. It's not going to match your colors exactly because it's not paint, but it gives you a general idea. It won't be here, but it continues here. And maybe my yellow, in my actual painting, I'll add white to it or something. Or do yellow-orange with white or something. But this gives me a sense of warm and cold and size of the shapes and the size of the color. And of course you want to repeat colors, so I'm going to just make this yellow. Once you get these triples and doubles in place, you can do anything else you want with a design. The only rule is you have to leave the background white. I can't emphasize that enough. If you don't leave the background white, the whole thing is messed up because you'll never know what the shape was color-wise to begin with. The beauty of this is we knew it was yellow prior to the overlaps. Oh, here's another double I didn't see. A lot of double. Alright, so I'm going to put yellow here too just because I want to balance it. So I feel pretty comfortable with the balance of the yellow and the warm. Not going to deal with those overlaps. Same with when you fill this in. It's going to be due on the 1st of May, so take your time. Plan it out. This week, this time is just to get it together in terms of your plan. And make sure your thumbnail is proportional to the proportions of your 15 by 20 board. So you could do it on like a 10 by 7.5 sort of area. See how this is blue, but I'm not filling in where it overlaps yet because that's later. If you try to mix as you go, it's tedious and it doesn't really achieve the effect as much. And remember, limiting your palette is good. So I'm going to make these sort of palm tree shapes also blue. And I'm going to fill in here only the parts that are flat. There's no blending in this other than mixing. So there's no value shifts or, you know, blending inside of things. These are flat shaped, hard edge. A big part of this class is mastering as much as you can at this stage the hard edge painting with those flat brushes. So, and then repetition too is key because I got blue, blue, and then I'm going to do blue over here. I'm just using some highlighters I have laying around. It's a lot easier to do your plan with color. If you don't have colored pencils or you don't want to do it like that, you can just label it. You can also do both, which I think is helpful. You can say yellow, you can say blue, blue, and just kind of write it in there so that when you turn in your drawing to me, I know what you're going to do, even if it's not a color thumbnail. Blue, and then yellow, wherever it is, even if it's the same shape. Now, it doesn't mean you can't change your plan a little bit later, but this gives you a good starting point. And you want to label each area, even if it's the same shape, because it's broken up. So I want to put it everywhere it goes. So I've labeled my blue and my yellow. And don't be distracted by that red. That was just for me to figure out where my triples were. So then you might start thinking about what's going to happen if yellow overlaps with this. What will it do? So in your head you can kind of go, okay, do I want sort of an orange grayish thing here? I think I have too much gaudy kind of bright color here. So I'm going to go with more of like a neutral gray. I'm going to do gray plus, I'll do gray plus orange. That's always a nice one. So I'll do gray plus orange. So I'll just add a little white and black into my gray plus orange. And of course I'm running out of markers, so I'm just going to label this gray plus orange. And I'm not labeling this or this because those are going to be its own thing. We don't have to worry about those. Those happen on their own. And I'm going to also repeat it because that's always a good idea, not to do the rainbow. Gray, if it's too small, just put an arrow, gray plus orange. And you want everything labeled that's going to be filled flat. And that's it. That's what's due. Once you have this done and we have a general idea, we're going to start actually filling these in. Again, like when you paint, you're going to fill in just the parts that are not overlapped. When you get to the overlap, you're going to mix your gray and orange with your yellow to get this area. And you can do more yellow or less yellow or more gray and orange to show what's in front and behind. So let's say that's gray and orange, and you mix it with the yellow, maybe put less yellow, then it'll look like the gray and orange is in front. But over here, what if we add less gray and orange and more yellow? So in this space, it's weaving under, and in this space, it's weaving over. So there's all these really cool things you can do. Like here, it's more obvious. I'm going to put green. I don't have a green marker, but basically, when we paint, we're going to mix yellow with the blue and get like a green. So this is where we're going to get the illusion of transparency. Wherever these things overlap, it's going to create a new color, and a lot of times really interesting colors, especially if you delve a little bit into neutrals and grays. So here's another. Sometimes you mix a pile and you can kind of place it everywhere that you see it. So you can see like the beginnings of what happens. So this is what's due first. I want to get a sense of your composition, your ideas. It can be a bunch of shapes that are related, that tell a story. All I ask is that you leave the background white, you use repetition, slightly limit your palette, and read the tutorial. There's a lot of information online and videos about this technique. I put a video on there and some really interesting images. I hope you really have fun with it. It's a longer project because it takes a lot of time to get it really clean, and you want to do lots of layers of paint. And you have to be really careful to stay in the lines because you don't want to get onto the white. So that's step one, and we'll check in on the 15th. You can check in with me individually, but either way, whether you do or not, I just need to see examples on the discussion board in Canvas. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye.